This video is going to be about what's called your modules. And your modules are things like your guns, your turrets, your engines, your tracks, your radios, etc. It's very important that you have the strongest armor you can have and that you have the best penetrating weapons. So I'm going to show you, when you have a lot of tanks, a method that you can use to easily examine your tanks to see how well you're equipped and to see if you need an upgrade. For example, I'm going to start with the T-32, which is all the way here on my left. I have no further tanks to the left. And as you can see, I have the 90mm gun. I can click on this little link over here and a little window pops up. And if you look on the second line, it says average penetration 198, 245, average penetration 170, 258. You want the highest penetration numbers. Now in this case, the second gun, the 90mm, has a higher penetration for what's called a premium round. And it has a lower penetration compared to the top gun for regular rounds. And it has a lower penetration compared to the upper gun for high explosive rounds. Excuse me. I want to get the most experience I can in the game. And to get more experience, you need more penetrations. And I am using premium rounds right now for most of my tanks. So as you can see, I'm going to look at the middle number, which is for premium rounds. The top gun has a penetration of 245 and the bottom gun 258. So that means, as you can see, it's checked in green. Right now I'm using the gun that has the highest penetration for this tank. I'm going to check my next tank, which is a TOG. And it's a premium tank, so there's only one gun to choose from. The IS-3 has a couple guns to choose from. The one with the highest penetration is the top one, the 122mm BL9. The penetration is 265. The gun's penetration for regular rounds and premium rounds and high explosives is better than all the other guns. And the damage is equal to or better than all the other guns. So that one has the best gun. Now let's check the STI. The STI has 340 for the top gun. I'm looking at the middle number of average penetration, 265 and 217. So that has the best gun. And not only that, it's a tier 10 gun. And if you look at this tank, the STI, what's important is your armor and your gun when you get into the higher tiers. It already has a tier 10 gun. In fact, the tank after it, the tier 10 tank, this is a tier 9, uses the same gun. This tank is only tier 9. The only real difference between this tank and the tank after it is that the tank after it probably has better armor. I know that it has better armor. It has a better turret armor. So essentially, if you get the tier 9 for the STI, you really don't have to get the tier 10. The tier 10, which is the IS-4, uses the same gun. The turret armor is a little bit better, but other than that, the STI is, for the most part, comparable. Let's look at the hull armor, 140, 160. This one has hull armor of 140, 140. And turret armor, I've got 250, 160, and this one is 250, 200. So the frontal armor is the same. It's the side armor and perhaps the rear armor that's a little bit better. But the point that I'm making is the STI is very, very comparable to the IS-4. The IS-4 is not a giant leap past the STI. So if you're rushing to get that IS-4, a tier 10 tank, thinking you're about to run into a powerhouse, it doesn't really do it. So let's go back to the garage. Obviously, if you're doing something like a clan war, you probably want every little edge you can get, so you're going to get the higher tier tank. But it's a small advantage considering the work that you're going to put into it and the fact that you could choose other tanks. The T-20. I'm looking at the middle penetration. For this gun, it's a top gun, which I don't have. The penetration is 243, and the one that I have is 177. However, the difference is that higher penetration comes at a severe cost. The reload time is less than half as much, maybe even a third as much. Yeah, it's a third as much. So I decided to go with the lower penetrations, but get triple the number of shots. And the reason why is because it's a fast tank. The armor is not that great. It's good for going out and shooting a lot of people, and the armor is not going to help you, and getting a shot occasionally isn't going to help you. You need a faster gun for that type of a tank. But you can obviously choose whichever gun you want. So let's look at the T69. The top one has 250 for penetration. The bottom one has 210, so I already got the best gun for that. These two only have one gun. Let's check the next tank. The next tank, the top gun has 258, the bottom one 243. So for this one, the top gun has a higher penetration, which I do not own. I have to research it. It looks like I could actually do it for 15 cents. I could do that research for that gun. Let's see how the turret armor does. 76, 25, 25. The turret armor is the same. The view range is the same. The second one has a higher weight, and the traverse speed is the same. So basically these two turrets are identical, except for the second turret is heavier. I don't see an advantage to that, but it looks like it's required, so I'm going to have to buy this turret in order to mount this gun. So I'm now mounting a better gun. I'm going to go back to my garage, and I'm going to go into service because I'll probably have to get different rounds. It looks like it has one round more. Actually, I will reduce that and increase this up to 10. I've been winning a lot of the automatic fire extinguishers using the missions. That's why I have 8 of them in my depot. Okay, so I've upgraded that tank to have the higher penetrating gun. And I'm going to go to my depot, and if I look under modules, you're going to see that I've got the gun and the turret, and I'm going to sell them. So I'm not going to need them ever again. Okay, so what is after this tank? We've got the Centurion. The highest gun does have higher penetration. It fires at half the speed. However, I probably don't have enough to research it anyway. I'm going to need some time to play a few more games before I'll be able to get that higher gun. It looks like it's going to be a while. I just got this tank a couple days ago. This tank I think only has one gun. Oh, it has 2. It looks like I don't know. The top one uses only one type of round, and the lower one uses a different type of gun. So it's possible that I might actually... actually the top one also does a lot more damage. So I'm going to leave it as it is. Let's check the Panther. The top gun penetration is substantially higher than the lower gun, so I'm going to be set with that. Let's check the next one. The top gun has higher penetration, but I don't have the top gun. This is a new tank. I just got it a couple days ago. So I'm going to have to get that higher gun. This is 171, 220, and that's 237, 240. Oh, this is the one where I researched it, but the weight of the gun is too heavy, so I can't put it on my tank yet. I'll be able to do it in a couple of days. So for that one, I need to upgrade the gun. Let's check the Tiger. The gun at the top, which is what I have, if you look at the second number, which is 237, compared to 171, 194, and 104, I have the gun with the highest penetration. So we are going to go to the ELC. With this one, the highest penetration is 248, and I already have that. The AMX, the higher penetration I already have. The M445, I already have the higher penetration. There is a gun over here that's also pretty good with 248. The next tank is the T-44. It looks like there's two guns, the 100 millimeters, that have higher penetration, which I don't own. But I need to research them, and it looks like it's going to be a while before I get there. I'm going to have to play a lot of games in that tank. There's a lot of good guns over here that I'll have to get. KV-2. This one I have the higher penetrating gun. But what I don't have, you'll notice the 152 millimeter does 700 damage. That's a lot of damage. That gun can do a lot of destruction. Let's see the next tank. The next tank, I don't have the best gun. It says I have an incompatible turret, which means I have to research that turret to get that gun, which I just might do. And this one, it looks like all the guns have similar penetration, so I see no need to make any changes. The reload time is different. For example, if you get this first gun, the penetration is a little bit lower, but the reload time is a lot faster. In fact, and it does less damage. If you're using regular rounds, the penetration is the same no matter which gun you get, but it reloads a lot faster. So I have to say it depends on your playing style. And my final tank, I do have the one that has the highest penetration. There is another gun that's higher that does more damage. But as I said, I play the game to get experience, because it's experience that allows you to get a new tank, and it's experience that puts you high in the rankings. Experience is what wins the game. In order to get experience, you need penetrations, not damage. And penetrations means you want the highest penetrating gun. So that's why I make sure I have the highest penetrating guns for all of my tanks. Again, the other tanks where I don't have it yet are the tanks that are new that I haven't researched yet. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please post it in the comments.